Hey everybody, Jim Malone here, coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor. It is Tuesday, and it looks like the infrastructure bill was passed in the Senate. I don't know if that's good or bad. There's some there's some really kind of pretty bad stuff in there that I think your people are going to find out about. There's this new tax on crypto, which we'll see what happens. It was buried, of course, in there. I don't think it's a tax, obviously on the capital gain. I think there's already exists, but I think it's a tax on the mining of Bitcoin. Don't really understand it yet, but I did, I did see an article on that. So we'll see what happens. A lot of, a lot of, a lot of the governments are trying to kill that crypto because they don't want that competition. So who knows? I mean, what's going to happen? So let's just get into the slides and go from there. So there we go. So basically, what's happening here is, the Nasdaq's off just slightly. It's down a little bit, not much. But it's the Dow is the one that is sort of the superstar today. It's up about 0.45% on the on this infrastructure bill, which I guess is going to. I don't think there's that much really in it for infrastructure. That's what I was told, but again, I haven't read it. It's like 2,700 pages or something like that. So, but anyways, so we're still kind of, we're still in this tight pattern. We're above 14,500, which is good. We're near the all-time high of the Nasdaq. So this is a kind of interesting thing. I mean, we could move lower. So we got to set those stop losses tight. Now, I did add to positions that I had today, and that was I added to Goldman Sachs, and it's loving this. Actually, I actually doubled my positions in three of my portfolios on Goldman Sachs. So we'll see what happens with Goldman. It's just moving above the buy zone right now. I mean, it's just right at the peak. I think you could still probably get in, but I think this is going to go a lot higher. The volume's up, the price is up. Composite rating is up. Of course, Goldman Sachs is kind of a specialty bank. I mean, it's really an investment bank, even though it's in the money center bank category. But that's the one I was really buying today. But I did also buy another one, Under Armour, Under Armour. And it's funny because I bought I bought UA, which is Under Armour C, Class C, and I didn't realize that I really wanted the Class A, so I had to quickly turn around and sell it. Didn't lose any money on that. That's usually I lose money when that happens. It actually was going up, and then I went back in and I bought a small position. It's just a half position in Under Armour, but the chart is looking pretty nice. So that's the reason why I went into Under Armour today. But my big buy was in Goldman Sachs, and I think they'll probably do very well in this kind of environment. So we'll see. We'll see how it's going to shape up. Just kind of wanted to go through sort of my stock holdings now. I did sell off some, but I'm still in Nvidia. It's down. DocuSign is down. Interestingly enough, even though today I did close a spread on this one, I had a profit up in the morning. DocuSign was up, and I'm glad I closed that spread, because it's retreated now towards the end of the day. So who knows what's going on there, but DocuSign is still above that critical $300 level. Nike just is the gift that keeps on giving, and I have bought Nike, and I liked it so much that I actually bought another one called Skechers yesterday. It's up too, not a lot of volume, but so I have got Nikes and Skechers. So I'm in the shoe companies. It's kind of amazing. Robert Half just keeps on moving up. I don't know what it is about this one, but Robert Half, very good stock. Seems like it just, I don't know why it's moving up. A little bit of retreat in PerkinElmer, PKI, but of course this is the company that does the gene sequencing. They make most of the world's gene sequencing equipment. About 80 to 85% of all the companies in the world buy their gene sequences from this company. Down a little bit today, 184. 35. But all in all, good company. This is one of my two chip companies, ST Micro. It's up again today. This one has just been a little inch in the could. I'm telling you, it's not bad. STM is the symbol on this one. I don't know if it's still in the buy zone. I have to check that. In Snap, it's down a little bit today. Volume's up and the thing is down, so this is sort of on the bubble. We'll see how this fares. I did have a spread on it that I closed for profit 2 days ago. Oh no, I'm sorry, on Friday. And CrowdStrike, even though it's in this list, I did sell this right before I came on the air. I decided, CrowdStrike, it's not happening. What I did is I sold my CrowdStrike, and actually I sold it for a little better price than that. I think about $256 is what I sold it for. Anyways, sold this CrowdStrike, but I ended up buying Goldman Sachs instead. Again, Goldman Sachs is up $9.13, or about 2.28%, and the volume's up. So definitely see a lot of movement into Goldman. I'm in Trex. It's just off slightly, 58 cents. So that isn't doing too bad. And of course, yesterday I bought Berkshire Hathaway. That's a real defensive move. But it's up today, 109. Kind of amazing. 0.38%. This is not a bad one if you just this is sort of your slow poke stock. But it's at a buy point. It was at a buy point, so that's the reason why I went into it. Skechers, again, we went over that one. Under Armour, and that's up about 77 cents. And my laggard right now is Square. I mean, that's on the bubble too. We'll see what happens with that. I may be parting company soon. I don't know. I may be parting company. But basically, let's get to some of the questions, and let's see if I can get my camera going. Hopefully, I'm going to have this new video card. That'll be very exciting. Hopefully, I'll get that soon. And I won't have these outages. It's just ridiculous. I mean, I can't believe I'm having so much trouble with this. But I am. So let's get to the questions. Let me pull up the charts. And for everyone that's interested, what charts I use MarketSmith. It's actually a product by IBD, Investor Business Daily. And it doesn't have everything on it. One of the things it doesn't really have is candlesticks. That's one of the issues with it. But boy, everything else it's got in spades, and that's why I use it. It's kind of pricey. It's kind of a pricey. It's kind of a pricey one, but I do really like it. So, anyways, all right, Nathan. Thank you very much. How do you determine a cup with handle? Before software indicators. Often the charts looks like a cup. Oh, okay, that is a really good question. It's actually I do use pattern recognition, but here's the thing: you need to basically when you're looking for cup with handle formation. Let me see if I can pull that up. Cup with handle. Let's see if I can let me see if I can, okay, yeah, there we go. There, bringing up the definition here from Investorpedia. Let's see if I want to see if they have a good, yeah, okay. All right, so here we go. This is a classic cup with handle, and I'm just what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you this on the screen. This is actually from Investorpedia, which is, kind of like Wikipedia, but for investors, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, this is the classic cup with handle. Now, the cup portion of this needs to be about 9 weeks, minimum of 9 weeks from there to there. Now, it can be longer, and actually, the longer the better. But that's typically what will happen. The stock will move up, it'll peak, and then it will come into this kind of cupping action, and then right here is where the buy point is. That's the resistance. And then what will happen is it'll push up against that, and it'll pull back, pull it back, and then eventually it will pop up much higher. Now, one of the ways that you can see this kind of action is to look at the volume, and unfortunately, this doesn't show it on Investopedia. So let's see if we can go over to. Let me just look at one that I bought today, and that would be Goldman Sachs. I think that has a cup with handle. Let me just check. I thought I had remembered that. Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe in the weekly chart. You really want to look at the weekly chart for this. Well, this isn't really the best. That's a consolidation. Goodness, where would it? Let me see what a cup with handle. SKX. If that's got a cup with handle. Trying to find one that's really a good example of that. Well, this is sort of a cup with handle, and the pattern recognition, and this is without pattern recognition. So let's kind of take a look at this, Nathan, so that you can kind of get a idea of kind of what it looks like. This is on Skechers, which I did buy today. And it does. This is sort of a cup with handle formation. It doesn't kind of look like it, but this is sort of the cup. It comes up to this high point here, this 53.14, and then it sort of retreats, comes down to, typically there's going to be an index line like here. This is the 50-day line. Sort of comes down the 50-day line, starts bouncing along that, and then it pulls back and kind of it's like cocking the pistol, and then it pops up, and then basically the basically the buy point is going to be right along this line at the higher. It's going to be to a higher high. But what happens sometimes is it'll punch through it, and then it will pull back, and then it'll pull up, basically trying to basically get this is where the strong hands and the weak hands duke it out. Now here's how you can find out if it's going to make a move higher. You look down here at the volume. One of the things you'll notice is that there is upward pressure. These are the blue bars, but they're going down. So fewer and fewer people are willing to sell, but there's buying pressure. So this shows it's getting ready to make a breakout. So let's go over to the weekly chart. It's not really as obvious on the weekly chart. It's really more obvious on the daily chart. And then if we go to the intraday chart, you can kind of see this. Yeah, there we go. Okay, this was the breakout here, basically. This is the breakout here. You see it came up, and then resistance came down, came up, and then again, this is the second attempt here. Now, I bought it basically today as it was moving upwards. We'll see if it will pull above this 54.50, because that's kind of where it's gonna make its move. But that kind of gives you, as best I can, well, it's not really that great, sort of an idea of what the cup with handle formation is. And yeah, it's definitely, if you can spot it, it's very, very good. So that's really how you do it. You're looking for at least a 9-week base. Let me pull it back to the weekly chart. You always want to look for the cup with handle on the 9 week, on the weekly chart. Now, in this case, this has pattern recognition in here, and it's showing basically a flat base, but this is really a cup with handle. You see it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So it's 14 weeks wide, and then it's come right back up to the buy point, and then it's pushed into this buy zone. And that basically that's the cup with handle when the pattern recognition doesn't recognize it. All right, so here's the thing. I did buy this. Also, you'll find there's many times an event that will push it beyond the buy point, and that is, in this case, it was really, really good earnings by this company, Skechers. As you can see, their sales were up 127%, and then the profits were up 267% quarter over year. So that's very strong, and that's typically when it's going to, the demand is going to be there, and the supply is going to dry up. So really, what causes the stock to move higher over that pivot is that the strong hands, the people that are the main holders of it, are not willing to sell for the ask price. They're just not, and they're just going to hold on for they're not going to sell at the bid price. They're going to just hold on and for the ask price. And so, in order to get it, you gotta pay the ask, and so that's what pushes it higher. So that's a great question, by the way. That's a very, very good question regarding this. So that's kind of my in a nutshell thing. What's the number one sector at the moment? Good question, Kyle. That is a great question, because there's been a lot of rotation, and as we know, that rotation It can be terrible, but it can also give you some really nice opportunities. This is the ranking of the sectors. There's in with IBD divides the stock market into 197 sectors, and the number one currently sector, and this is really surprising. This is one of the reasons why I've been buying things like Nike and Skechers, and I'm even looking at Revolve right now. Oh, by the way, that's probably the best bet. I'm looking at Revolve because this retail sector is just doing great. One of the really big areas is this apparel, shoes, and manufacturing. Now, the department stores are number one, but this is one I think that has some of the best opportunities in it. It's shoes and apparel manufacturing, and this is where Skechers is. This is where. So let's take a look. Yeah. So Crocs is in there. Nike is in there. Skechers is in there. So they're all pretty good. I mean, as a matter of fact, I own Nike and I own Skechers, but I don't own Crocs. I'm amazed that people will pay $100 for plastic shoes, but hey, what do I know? I mean, I'm still running around in Chuck Taylors that I've had for like 35 years. So yeah, I don't know anything about style. So I don't know. I just know about the charts. That's it. I can't tell. Unfortunately, Crocs is a tad bit extended, so I probably, wouldn't be buying that. But right now, the retail sector is on fire. Another one that you want to look at, and this one pulled back a little bit. It's looking pretty good. It's Revolve, RVLV. I think that's the symbol of it. Yeah, Revolve. There it is, Revolve Group. All right, and this one, basically, what it does, it has this beautiful, this consolidation here, consolidated, and then it moved past the buy point, and then went way up, and then right before earnings, everyone sold it because they were scared that it wasn't gonna, they weren't gonna make it. But the earnings were excellent. As you can see, the earnings per share are up tremendously, 60% up with the sales, 110 with the profit. So that's pretty darn good. This is Revolve, and it pulled way back, but then immediately it pulled back up. So this one actually, I believe, is actionable right now. I believe this one is actionable, and I kind of did a little bit of a. This is not a cup with handle. This is what they call a consolidation. But it's a similar idea. It really is a similar idea. A beautiful couple handle, of course, comes all the way up and then it traces all the way back. But most of the time, they're a little bit more noisy than that. What they do is they'll come up to a high point and then they'll bounce, and then there'll be an event. In this case, was a great. This was last quarter. They're up. Their earnings per share were up 400%. Can you believe that for a shoe company? Wow. I don't know. It's maybe better than an electronics company. We don't know. But then what happened is it went up and then boom, there was right before there. I think a lot of people were, had it, they were up, they were like, no, I'm not going to hold it through earnings, and they sold, and boom, it pulled down. This is one of the reasons why coming into earnings, you got to be a little bit careful. I usually, if I'm not up 10%, I typically will sell. And the reason is because, these pull downs can be tremendous. But this kind of shows you that the true resistance, I'm showing this by the chart, is right here at about 55.80. This is on Revolve Group, and it's in a very good sector. As you can see, it's number 8 out of 197. So this retail apparel, shoes, and accessories area just doing great. I mean, it's just doing great. Now, of course, that's not the only one in there, but I just kind of want to show you the top stocks that are sort of in there. Let's go to the retail. There we go. I got to close that window first or it won't work. There we go. Now it should. Well, theoretically. Let's go. This definitely will work this way. So if we go back into that group and kind of look at what the top stocks are in that group, basically we've got, Crocs, Deckers, Dockers, Outdoors, Rocky Brands. I don't know what this one is. Puma. You've heard of Puma, of course. And then Nike. So they're all pretty darn good. But this is a group that seems to be getting a lot of love right now. Why, I don't know, but I guess, if you can't afford a house and you can't afford a car and you can barely afford a cell phone, the next thing you want to buy are overpriced tennis shoes. So I guess I guess that those are a good area. But right now, this group is pretty darn good, working well. So the retail sector seems to be coming alive here. So that's really the deal here. Question on Apple: Is it a hold, or is it a sell? Is it a buy, or is it a whatever? Because Apple stuff went to hell. I'm not currently in Apple right now, and I'm kind of taking a wait and see attitude. Still love the company, of course. I mean, it's a fabulous company, tremendously profitable. But it's tough to top the iPhone. I mean, once people have an iPhone, it's tough to sell them another one until the other one breaks. So there's so that's been kind of the issue. Currently, Apple is above the buy zone, so I wouldn't buy it at this level. I would wait till it handles out a little bit more. Now, by the way, this is a great example of the cup with handle, but the handle sometimes is not below the buy point, sometimes it's above that, and that's definitely the case here with Apple. I think it possibly is going to bounce off the green line here. That's the 200. That's the 21-day moving average. But right now, I just think you got to kind of hold your horses on this one, and you just kind of got to take a wait see attitude. I really want to see this thing move above about 150 before I'm interested in Apple again. I still love the company, but I wouldn't be. You know what? If you're in it, I would probably hold it, but I wouldn't enter here. I wouldn't enter this here, but I would probably hold it. What you might want to do is if we get an up day for Apple, you might want to reduce your position a little bit. Maybe maybe sell half, something like that. Maybe sell half. All right. Thanks, Matt. ATKR. Let's take a look at ATKR. ATKR. Oh, right. This is interesting. Okay, so this is the residential construction market. Yeah, this is a good one. I think I put this out in. I think we put this out in the watch list. I don't know if you've seen the watch list, but I mean the ready list. Excuse me. This is definitely a ready list stock. It's right at the buy point. Very nice action on it. Definitely actionable here. 48%, up in terms of volume. 5% in terms of price, so it's looking $4.93. So it's looking good. I mean, relative strength is 96, so this is not a bad place to buy this stock. It's got a 100% checklist, which I really like. So and the group is very good. The building construction products area is 44 out of 197. So this is an area that seems to be getting some love. I mean, it seems to be getting some big investments in it. It's really kind of more of an industrial play, but with infrastructure coming up, that might do really well. This also had some great earnings. As you can see, the earnings per share the sales were up 122%, and the earnings were up 491. So that's really good. As you can see, this is a cup without a handle form. Now, here's the thing: if you do buy it at this level, you might get a pullback here, but that's not unlikely with creating a handle. So cups without a handle are a little bit more risky to buy than cups with handle. Okay, the reason is because when it comes up to that pivot, that pressure point, that buy point, sometimes it will naturally pull back until all of the weak hands are basically taken out, and then it will move higher. But it does look like looking very good with this relative strength, nice earnings per share. And it looks like for some accumulation is going on. I just want to figure out how many funds are in this. Wow, a lot of them are 534 funds are in this. They've got strong cash flow. This is not a growth company by any stretch of the imagination. Look at that return on equity, 59%. Boy, that doesn't get much better than that. And very good stock. So you definitely could buy this at this level. I think it would work very well. So. I think this stock would work very well at this level. So, not a bad one, Matt. Very good. Thank you. Let's take a question from TikTok. I've been kind of is BABA a buy? Okay, basically, I want to show you stocks to stay away from. So BABA is one of them. I was looking to do a bear put spread on this one. I did not do it. This is not a good stock, and it's not a good buy. And I'll show you why. This is on the weekly chart here. We have a declining price. Okay, so that's not good. We're underneath that 50-day moving, that 200-day moving average. We're under the 50-day moving average. So this stock is declining. Its relative strength is 8, which is pretty awful, even though it had some great earnings. So good earnings don't necessarily, good sales increases and good earnings don't necessarily make for a good stock, because this stock probably was overvalued. I mean, that's just the end. And another thing too is right now, Amazon is pulling back, and of course, unfortunately, I have an Amazon spread that I've got to adjust. So I will be doing that probably tonight. I'll probably be adjusting that one. But right now, this area is not doing well. This retail internet area, 158 out of 197. So it's definitely in the bottom 20% of the stock market. So this is not where this is not where the capital is headed. So with BABA, I think you got to be super careful. I would not buy BABA at this point. It's just in a downward trend, and just want to put that out there, because a lot of people, might be saying, "Oh, it's cheap," and maybe that's a good thing to do. So I don't think it is, but opinions are a dime a dozen, especially mine. But right now, I think BABA is being not invested in. It's BABA is not the place to be. So let's take a look at a place that is a place to be, and that is Bank of America, BAC. All of the money center banks have done are trending very nicely right now. I want to show you B of A. Let's get that up there. Yeah. Let's go to the daily chart, because it's a little bit hard to see the weekly chart. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here, and hopefully that will bring it in there a little bit so you can see it better. All right, yeah, that's looking a lot better. A lot easier to see that. Okay, this is Bank of America. Bank of America, and this, we're on the daily chart here, looks like it has reversed higher in a consolidation. So this is a very good place to buy it. There's the trend line. So let's set that alert on that trend line. So basically what I'm doing here is I've drawn this little line, and this Bank of America was pulling back, but as you can see now, it basically tested at the bottom of the consolidation at 36.51. It's been moving up ever since, but it really wasn't viable until it was at about 38.50, because that's where it moved from a downward trend to an upward trend. Now, I am relatively bullish on this sector right now. The money center banks are 38 of 197. So let's take a look kind of at this part of the market, because I think this is a significantly important part of the market to look at right now, because this is where I do believe we are seeing some we're seeing some rotation into this area. So I'm going to go over here to the there we go. I'm going to go to the money center banks, and that's number, I think, 34. Let's see. Yeah, let's go down here. Yeah, no, that's leasing. Where is it? Where is it? Well, if I go back to BAC, let's go back to BAC. Okay, it's 38. Okay. There we go. So what I'm doing here is I'm looking through the sectors of there's 197 of these, and I'm going to number 38, which is the money center banks, and I'm going to take a look at this. And the reason we're going to look at this is kind of look at Bank of America and its peers. Now, this chart here that you're seeing, this is the entire group, and it is looking very good as a group. Relative strength is moving up with the relative strength line. We have this very nice action, and let's go over here to the top stocks in here. The top stocks right now: Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, Wells Fargo. So unfortunately, Bank of America is not there, but Bank of America has a good relative strength. Here's what I would kind of look at. Bank of America is definitely worth looking at, but also I think that you want to look possibly. Let's take a look. Of course, I was buying Goldman Sachs today, basically doubling my position, but I like Wells Fargo too. Wells Fargo, I think it's viable. Yeah, Wells Fargo is definitely viable. So Here's what I would say regarding Bank of America. I think that your better bet, and it's stronger, is Wells Fargo. I think it's a little bit better. And currently, Wells Fargo is right in the buy zone. So the buy point for Wells Fargo, 48.13. And let's take a look at kind of its checklist. Very good checklist for a bank. 7 out of 9, so 78%. So looking very good. This is where the market is. This is where the money currently is moving in the market. It's moving into the money center banks. And now the other one that we might want to look at is Morgan Stanley MS. And of course, that one, unfortunately, is above the buy point and above the buy zone. So you probably don't want to, that's probably not one that you want to do. Let's look at GS, because I've been buying GS yesterday and today. Now, we're just above, no, I guess we're just right at the top of the buy zone. As you can see, there's my buys here. Started right at the pivot, and then I bought as it's moved up. We'll see if that's a good strategy or not, but it definitely is in a buy zone. So, Bank of America probably a little bit extended. Wells Fargo is right in the buy zone, and so is Goldman Sachs. So if you're looking to kind of take a look at bank stocks, Mark, take a look at Wells Fargo, because I do think it's set up better, a little bit better than Bank of America. Now let's look at Riot blockchain. Of course, Riot is definitely runs with Bitcoin, and I kind of want to take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin moved above the key resistance level of 40,000, and it's trading above that. So that's good. That's a bullish sign for Bitcoin right now. Currently, Riot blockchain is, I don't know. It's hard to say. It's interestingly, I like the daily chart better than I like the monthly chart, which is usually strange. But let's put a reversal line on this, and that is a potential. Yeah. So it has reversed, and it is moving higher, and that's probably true due to the fact that with Bitcoin trading higher. But you know what? I think that it's such an uncertain market right now. At least from my own personal opinion, I'm really going more with a little bit more safety plays that may not be as quite as lucrative, and that's the reason why I did double my position in Goldman Sachs. Let's see. I also want to show. I also want to take a look at the Gbtc. This is the ETF that covers Bitcoin, and they have about 4% of the world's Bitcoin. It's a Gbtc, so it trades like a stock, but it's Bitcoin, so it's easy to get in and out of, and it seems to have reversed. This might be an alternative play if you want some exposure to, if you want some exposure to Bitcoin, but don't want Bitcoin, don't want the total volatility that Bitcoin gives you. So this might be an alternative, the Gbtc, and it's moved above the reversal line, so that's good. It's above the 200-day moving average, and it's pulled back a little bit. This is probably getting to be actionable, though, with the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. I have not been in this one really since about January, February of this year. I just haven't been in it, but this one is getting to be possibly actionable. So that's another thing that you might want to look at if you're looking at plays like that. All right. Thoughts on LAC with infrastructure? Unfortunately, I don't think it's really. I think this bill is a so-called infrastructure bill. I don't really think that there's a lot in this that's basically infrastructure with this bill. I think it's a feel-good it's deal. I don't think that's the way to go. Now, here's the thing with lithium. I think you got to be really careful with lithium, because currently most of the batteries are using lithium, as lithium oxide and that kind of thing. But that may be changing because there are new battery designs that don't use lithium. So if you're playing totally for electric cars, I don't know. I think you got to be careful with this one. This is much more speculative play. It definitely popped up on that bill, as you can see. But I don't know. I'm not really sold yet on this one. It's only got a 56% checklist. The sector it's okay. It's 93 out of 197, but it's not setting the world on fire. At least that's from what I can see. It's not setting the world on fire. So I would not recommend LAC. I just wouldn't. I think there's just other better plays out there that are not, you know, that are not in lithium. That's just basically it. All right. Can you please tell us which is the best after buy now? Can you please tell us which is the best time to buy now? I don't know what that's saying. I'm looking at the TikTok. Hi, Jim. What makes your trading group different or better? Well, one of the things is I actually do recaps of my option trades, and we have a lot of winners. In we have a lot of people that have come in and done very very well. I just closed a trade basically today. I don't know if I have the information on it. Let me just see if I do. This was a trade that we featured. Let's see if I can. Let's see if I can put this up there. I think I have it. Let me see if I can. Let's see if I can get it up there. This is a trade that I closed today, and of course, everybody in the Insta group had access to this trade as well. Let's see. That's the book call spread on Disney. I mean, no, not on Disney, on DocuSign. So let's put that up here. I'm going to click on over to that real quick. Yeah. So this is one that went out on July 20th, and basically this is how we got into it. It was a out of pocket expense of about this is we put up about $1,000 here, but this was the result. Basically, here's the result. Close it out. Basically today, it was what it is. We opened the trade, but see, this is another thing too. When you're doing these spread trades, it's nice to be able to adjust. We did that. We'd opened the trade, and then we adjusted it, and then we closed it. And the profit on this was for four. Now this is for 4 contracts, $1,280. But that's pretty darn good when you consider. Basically, this was basically from. This is basically a 7-day deal, and we have a lot of deals like this that that happen. They happen now. Now, interestingly enough, today this rallied. There was a rally there was a rally on DocuSign today, and then it pulled back. But we closed it before that, so we did pretty well in this one. So there's a lot of different opportunities like that you get in the Discord room. Now, if you didn't see this on the thing, you can take a look at what I'm talking about on YouTube, because unfortunately I can't run the actual information on TikTok yet. I'm hoping that the technology will change and I'll be able to show you exactly the everything that I'm trading. But that's kind of the good thing about it. The Discord room, a lot of people have done very well in the Discord room. Have a gentleman that's up, I think he's about 65% since he started with the discount room in his portfolio. So, we try to stick basically to, we try to stay basically to Can Slam, and that's sort of, that's sort of the long and the short of it. All right, so let's take a look back, and this is a question on Zoom, ZM. And this one, it still is below. It's still below the. Oops, let me get that. Let me share that screen out so everyone can, that's looking on YouTube can see it. But this is a chart of Zoom. As you know, Zoom Media. Everybody knows about Zoom. It did incredible. It was all the way up here to 588. The question is it reversed? Well, earnings are happening in, earnings are happening in 20 days. So the question is this reversed? Well, apparently it is not, because I have this reversal line. I'm going to reactivate that. I did have this reversal line on here, but it pulled back below that. So I'm not so sure that it's ready yet. Now, hopefully it will as it moves higher. But right now, you want to have this thing move above about 405 before you're going to be in this one. But you know, right now for Zoom, it's not probably the time to buy it yet. We're getting there. If it reverses, then it will go higher. But if we have another lockdown, I think that that Zoom will do fabulously well. So don't count it out. But I just wouldn't be a buyer at this point. I just right now I think it's a little bit risky. Okay, there we go. Oh, almost got it to work. There. All right. So I'll go back here, and hopefully that will work. All right. MARA. I'm still having trouble with my camera, but let's go to MARA and take a look at that. Marathon Digital Holdings. We talked about this one yesterday. Don't know a whole lot about Marathon Digital. Excuse me. Excuse me. I gulped down my lunch. There we go. I think I kind of got something caught in my throat. Marathon Digital. I really don't have a feel for this one. I want to look at the checklist. It's got a 99 relative strength, 78 checklist. It's in kind of an investment management finance area. I guess that's where they could put it. Very unusual. This is a patent troll. This company is a patent troll. Basically, what they do is they buy up patents, as far as I know, and then they sue people. But I'm not sure that's totally their. Oh no, I'm sorry. Digital asset technology mines cryptocurrencies with a focus on blockchain. I just don't know kind of what they do. I'm a little bit confused on this company. So I would probably, until I knew more about it, I can't really say, yay or nay. I mean, it's an okay chart. I'd like a little better chart, but I just can't really give you a good evaluation of this one. I don't know enough about it, so I'm just gonna have to defer. On this one, just can't say. Let's look at coin. Okay, this is interesting. I was in Coinbase basically on the day at IPO, and I basically had it for a grand total of about 20 minutes, and then I sold it. The question is, with earnings coming up today, what do we expect? Well, first of all, I would not buy this one into earnings. Oh, okay, after hours. Okay, so it had some very, very good earnings. So look at that. So so it looks as if, okay, yeah. So after hours, it definitely looks like, so this one may move strongly tomorrow. There, based on what I'm seeing, it's up about $6 in after hour trading. I wouldn't jump in after hours. Wait to see how it opens tomorrow, but yeah, I mean, this one, this is probably the one time you could buy it, is after when it comes through earnings. So it's up $5.33 with a lot of volume. So this one might be actionable. This one might be actionable. It's definitely very widely held, and it's an interesting company. So I think, I think you could definitely do something. I think you could definitely do something with Coinbase. But wait until tomorrow. Wait until it opens. You see how it's going, because it's a little bit, it's a little bit spiky. A little bit, it's a little bit spiky. It might not be. It might be a little bit tough to hold on to. Fubo, that's another one, of course. I am not in any of these, by the way. It's, Fubo TV is a really interesting idea. I actually saw one of the first ads for Fubo, which I thought was kind of cool. How you can get, basically, it's kind of like Roku, but it's got a lot of stuff on it. It's all these different, over the air stuff that you can get. So very interesting, very interesting. Not a particular fan of their chart, but they're up today, and it looks like they had some good earnings, because after hours it's up. It's up $3.57. Fubu's up. I mean, it went, it closed at 28.64, and it's after hours trading for 32. So somebody's interested in it, that's for sure. And it looks like it's cleared the 50-day line. So I'm a little bit more confident with this one than I am with, believe it or not, with Coinbase. I like this one better, actually, because I do think that this one is actually in a consolidation, and we'll see. It's got a 78 checklist, which isn't bad. So this one might be actionable as well. If I wouldn't buy a huge position in this one, I'm going to draw a reversal line here, basically. Yeah, and that's basically the reversal. So basically, it is just reversed. As long as it stays above that line, I think you're okay. But I still kind of want to see it move kind of up here, maybe to in this area up above 30, because I do think that it needs to come through this reversal, and then obviously there is a buy point on it. 3509 is right here. So if it opens tomorrow at about 35.10 or so, you might want to wait about an hour, and then possibly you could buy it at that time. And I do think that this one, we'll see if it moves up that high. I don't think it will, but this one you definitely want to keep on your radar. It looks like they had some very good earnings, and it's in a really good area. That the over the top internet, digital television space. So that's a pretty good area. That's a pretty good area. All right. What is your average monthly percentage gain trading like you do? Very good question, Nico. Well, let's take a look to see, and I'm going to actually show you real numbers. So I actually keep this thing called the small portfolio, and let me just pull it up here and show it to you. So I'll show you kind of what my performance was last month and what I've done so far this month. So let's look at it. It's Sheets. This is actually kept on Google Sheets, and the way that works, Nico, is that it that way I can keep I can keep it, and it updates itself. So we kind of got an idea. So we're gonna take a look at the small portfolio, and this is currently what I've done with it today. So let's pull over to that. It's taking a second for it. There it goes. Okay, so currently, not last month I was definitely, by this time, doing a little bit better. But last month I was up. Let's see. No, there we go. Yeah, last month on this one I was up about $141. This is and then of course the prior month $536. Currently, I'm up about I'm up with Nike. I'm up 12%. ST Micro about 3%, and then Under Armour I'm down a little bit on that. Just about that today, as you can see. Most of these I've held about 2 weeks. So typically, on the ones that I'm holding more than a week or two, I'm typically up 5 to 10% every month in each one. Of course, I get rid of the ones that don't work, and I was doing some of that today. I was selling, actually. I was trimming. I sold Nvidia in this one. I also sold AMD, believe it or not, and that one, we did very well. We were up 12% basically in 13 days. Sold it for profit. So that's kind of how it works. So typically 2 to 3% per month, per week is kind of the average trading like this. It just depends on how the stocks are running, but about 2 to 3% a week. So that gives you an idea. Typically, this is you could my average per year. Most of my accounts. I mean, currently I'm on one account is on track for 55% up so far this year. Just depends. But definitely, if you trade this way, I guarantee you're going to do better, much better than an index fund, and probably better than most hedge funds. So that's kind of how that works. All right. My thoughts on NUE. Let's look at NUE. and the amount of capital that's in the small account, we started last year with 8,000. We're about 16,000 now, so we've about doubled it in a year. So that's pretty good, pretty good in that. All right, and this is Nucor, and this definitely is in a buy zone. Well, it's right above a buy zone, and this is one of the best of the steel stocks. And right now, steel is doing extremely well. So it's pulled above the buy zone. Their buy point on this one is 110.97, 110.97, and it's a little bit above that. So looking very good. They had some. There is definitely some big funds coming in here. As you can see, this little Easter egg here shows that. There's a lot of big money coming in here. The relative strength is 95, but what I want to show you, I'm going to draw a line across that. You can see it's never been this high. So this is very good buy right now. Very good area to be buying. And steel producers are number 4 out of 197. So this is an extremely strong sector right now. And it's definitely, it seems like there's a rotation back into steel. There's also another stock that I want to point out called TX, and that one is even more so. As you can see, this is even more so. Unfortunately, it's not really anywhere near a buy zone. The last time it was really viable was basically at 39.60, and currently it's at $56, but a share. This one's good. It's interesting. I mean, first time pretty much in my investing career, that steel has actually been a decent investment, and right now it is. So, definitely something to look for. Let's kind of take a look in the steel producers just to see if we can find something that would work. So I'm going to go back here to the list, and this is the list of all the sectors. And it's number 4. It's the steel producers here. It's the number 4. It's the first is department stores. There's only very few in there. So this is a very interesting group. And as you can see, everything moved up today. So this is basically based on that infrastructure bill. So everybody's getting into that, thinking that maybe this time is the way to go. Currently, the best 3 in this group are, of course, Nucor, like you brought up, TX, and then Steel Dynamics, but they're all pretty good. Nucor has the highest relative strength at 95, so that's looking pretty good. So yeah, I mean, definitely Nucor is the one you probably want in you, and Nucor. So that's looking good. I think you definitely. An NUE I think is definitely an easy buy here. It's a very good chart, and it's right above it. Technically, is a little bit extended. I think what you could do is you could put it in an order. An order a little bit below that, maybe at 116, 115, and probably get a fill. But yeah, Nucor is looking very good, and it probably will pull back a little bit tomorrow and adjust because it's come through that buy point. That's a critical buy point, that 110 buy point. So I think it probably will pull back a little bit tomorrow, but be right in the buy zone. So you can definitely buy this one right now. It's a good stock, and I think you have a winner. I think you have a winner on your hand. I really do. It looks very good. What type of trader are you? Because you're not a day trader. Are you? Yes, I am basically a swing trader. The reason I don't day trade is because day trading, you're trading against the algorithms. It's very hard to win when you're trading against a machine. And there are some great day traders, but I don't. I can't be on every stock all the time. So the way I trade is I use stops, and what I do is I come in, I buy stocks as they're moving through a buy zone or reversing or moving higher. Then I put a stop loss in, and then as the stock moves up, I move the stop loss up with it. Sometimes it'll pull back, and if it does, well, either I sell for a small loss or I capture a gain. And then eventually, if the stock really moves, like some of them like Nike I've had, I just keep pushing that stop loss up, and eventually, it gets to the point where it's 20 to 25% up. So, and also another thing I do is when a stock is moving, I sell my stocks that are not performing as well. I typically give them about a week or two. If they don't perform, then I will sell them all. I will then move into something that is potentially moving a little bit better. That's kind of what I did today with Goldman Sachs. I was looking at it, and the banks were looking good, the financials. So, and I had been in Goldman Sachs just a few days, and it had moved up very, very nicely. So I definitely sold some of my other positions, and I moved the capital into Goldman Sachs. So that's kind of how I do it. I'm always trying to evaluate. That's why the sector that I'm buying in is so important. I typically like to buy in the top 20% and just ride along. That's kind of how I do it. All right. Question from Ronald. Thank you. MVST. Let's look at MVST. MVST. And see. Microvest Holdings. Lithium ion batteries. Okay, well, lithium ion batteries are great technology, but I just think that right now it's there's so many other companies that are, that are going to be in this field. I mean, it's still pretty good. I mean, electric power equipment is good. It's 60 out of 197, but you know what? I can't get totally excited about this one just because I just, I don't see them as a leader. Um, yeah, I just don't see them as a leader. Now, so I can't get really excited about MVST. It's in a downward trend. It's below the 200-day line. It's just not something I want to buy. There's probably better merchandise out there. So I'm not not knocking it, but yeah, I'm not as much into it. Let's look and of course this is a buy that I made on Friday. This is Berkshire Hathaway BRK dot B, and I think that let me see if that BRK, yeah, the BRKB, there we go. Okay, great. This is this is Warren Buffett's company. This is slow and sure wins the race. They had blowout earnings, and the railroad that they own, which is Burlington Northern Santa Fe, just doing great. And actually, my girlfriend and I, we went to Nebraska Furniture Mart this weekend to buy a new mattress, and of course they have great prices there too. So highly recommend it. We're still below the buy point. The buy point on this is 295. This is like a mutual fund. This is really like buying, even though this is a stock, this is kind of like an ETF really, because it has a lot of other stuff in it. Fairly good checklist. 78% actually is quite good. It's just slow and sure wins the race with this one. I think that this is a good time to put it in the portfolio. The earnings were very, very good. As you can see, sales are up 22%, which, of course, then that's a Geico and Nebraska Furniture Mart and See's Candy and Dairy Queen, and God, they own everything, seems like. Profits are up too. So this is a giant company, and yet they still, it's still cranking right along. Is this going to set on the world on fire? Probably not, because it's so big and they've got so many holdings and they've got so much cash. It's really an insurance company. I mean, that's really what it is. But it's I think it's going to do very well. I think it's going to work. This of course has no option. Oh, I guess no. Berkshire just has options. Oh, Berkshire does. I didn't realize that. For a long time, Berkshire A, which is the other, has no options, but this one does. So you can actually do an options play on this. Probably like this would be an ideal one if if you had 28,000 sitting around to probably do a covered call on buy 100 shares of this and then sell covered calls. You're going to probably get a very good return if you do that. But definitely like it, and at least for now, I'm going to be holding on. I'd probably be increasing my position in Berkshire. All right. Last questions because we're right in an hour. Let's look at Nvidia. Nvidia is pulling back today, and of course, as you know, I very much like Nvidia. Now, hopefully, I'm right about this, but they are coming up on earnings, and we'll see. That the weekly chart for Nvidia still looks pretty darn good. It's the daily chart that I'm not so in love with right now. There we go. Yeah. See, it pulled back and it touched the 10-day moving average. Now, hopefully, it will bounce. Yeah, and it looks like it has bounced in the after hours. So what it did is it went down to that. Let's zoom in. zoom it in a little bit here. There we go. So we can kind of take a look at it. It takes a second for my screen to refresh. There we go. All right. So as you can see, it's running in this channel. There's a resistance at 208. Earnings are next week. I do think we're going to see it bounce at this 10-day line, and I think we're going to see it move up. Now, if I'm not up at least 10% going into the going into earnings, I will probably start pairing my my holdings. But as you can see, I have been, most of my buys were basically, down here. So I'm fairly good in this one, but I do think that we're going to see. I have a feeling earnings should be fairly good with Nvidia. I still think it's the leader, and I do think that here's what I would do. I would hold this into earnings, and if you're not up 10%, I would sell it before earnings, and then see what happens on the other side. See if you can buy it on the other side. If you're up more than 10%, you definitely want to hold it through earnings. But that's kind of how I view it. I don't know if I would move in with a brand new position at this point. But it definitely looks like it's trading right at the 10-day line, and that's very good. So that's this little pink line here. So it looks like there's, if it reverses at this little pink line, which it probably will do because it's moved down for 3 days in a row. So I suspect we're going to see a bounce here tomorrow, right about here, and then hopefully up into earnings. It will move up into earnings. So we'll see. And if I'm up over 10% into earnings, I will continue to keep it. With Apple is not quite as good at this point. It's a great stock, but again, we covered it earlier. This one is trading a little bit above the buy zone, but it's sort of been stuck here for a while, kind of consolidating. I think that with Apple, it probably will be consolidating for a little bit longer. So not as good a position to start a new position in right now. That's kind of my take on it. All right. Got Burlington yesterday. Yeah, this is a good one, by the way, Nico. Burlington Court Factory. I don't have this, but this is a good stock. BURL. And it's amazing because this stock is like 100 years old. It's like 100 years old, and yet it's doing great. Take a look at this. Beautiful. Good timing there, Nico. Good timing. Getting into Burlington, you bought it right at. This is a very good way to buy it. When it comes right up to the buy point, this 336, and then it gets this kind of very tight action here, and then boom, boop, it went right up. And why? Because the sellers, the weekends were taken out, and then everybody had to pay the bid price, so that's why it went up. So yeah, it's off a little bit in after hours, but I think this is a fabulous stock, and I think you'll do great with this. Got a very nice checklist. But one of the things I really like about this is that it is the industry rank is number 8, so this is extremely strong. This is just an extremely strong area. This is where you ought to be right now in the rankings. So very, very good. Very, very good deal. Well, I have come to the end of another hour. I'll be back tomorrow. But here's the thing. If you want to get on the action trade alerts, we do send out some cool stuff. I think we're probably going to send out the we send out the ready list. We're probably going to send out the we're probably going to send out the watch list, which is a much larger one. We're probably going to do that tonight, I think, if everything goes well. But you got to be on the list to get on it. And the way you get on the list, it's super easy. Just go to www.dallastradingfloor.com and his first and last name, and you'll get right on it. So I'll just show you what it looks like. DallasTradingFloor.com. All right. No, it can't be reached. because I didn't put a period there. There we go. Let's see. And this is what it looks like. This is what the home page looks like. It's not really a home page. It's kind of it's the same for it's the same for our mobile folks as it is for desktop. But this is the free extra alerts, and we'll probably be putting out a list tonight. I maybe I'll put out the under $10 list. That's a really good one. But anyways, you got to be on the list. First, last name, and an email address. Hit that subscribe button. You'll be good to go. Also, if you're interested in finding out about doing CanSlim training, the system that I use and a lot of very excellent stock traders use, you just push on this button and you go right to that. And then, of course, if you're interested, we have a very exciting Dallas Trading Floor mug that's also available. So until tomorrow at about 3:30 or 4:30, depending on whenever I get everything running. Hope to see you back here, and happy trading. Thanks so much for stopping by. And if you do have questions, try to get them in early because I'm not getting through all the questions. So if you do have questions on stocks that you particularly want me to go over, just get in early. On the easiest way is to go to YouTube, type in the symbol, and then I'll take it out. It'll analyze it and see if we can go from there. But that's a great way to do it. Also, if you're looking on TikTok, the easiest way to get questions to me is to go to YouTube at youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor. So until tomorrow, thanks everybody for watching, and hope to see you soon. Happy trading. Now, where is it? Happy trading.